Hey traders, Jason here with Day Trading Fearless. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. Make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe. In this video, I'm going to talk about how I day trade for a living, the S&P Emini futures, and this system kind of works for anything, and I'll just kind of let you know there are a couple things that I do. I will walk you through the opportunities that I had on a day like today, and just other things that can be really helpful for you as a trader to kind of figure out what to do, right? So the first step is become really good at one or two things. That is what I've done. I've been day trading for over 21 years. And with that being said, I've really narrowed everything down to where I've been day trading the S&P futures for probably the last 16 years now. Every single day of my life, I feel like I've watched the S&P futures. So I'm going to kind of go over tips and tricks of what I do and the two different things I do, right? The first thing I have become really good at is looking for divergences and trading the divergences. And I'm actually going to go over how I do that in this video. I'm going to show you the things I look for and kind of how I look at the market. The second thing I do is I do weekly trade zones, right? If you guys want, I teach you guys how to do these trade zones. I've kind of created a 2-hour long video. There's a link down below in the description. If you look in the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see it's only $99 for a lifetime subscription. And if you trade the S&P futures, I give you these trade levels with any open gaps or VPOCs for the following week. And essentially, what these are support and resistant levels, right? So as price comes down, you look for a bounce. As price rallies into it, you look for a reversal. And it's only $99. I send those out every weekend. But in addition to that $99, it's a one-time payment, you actually get the 2-hour video course where I teach you everything from A to Z, kind of spill the beans, give you the secret sauce of how these trade zones work, what to look for, and they work on any future stock or cryptocurrency. So even if you don't trade the S&P futures, you could just sign up, get the video course, really understand it, and go trade whatever you want. So there's a lot of value in there. So those are the two things that I've actually become really good at over the last couple years, right? Is I've learned to narrow my focus and wait for my trade setups. And this is what it takes to be a day trader for a living, right? You have to be consistent. You have to know what works. And part of that process is looking at the screen over and over, right? So two things that I really look for is I will look for the divergent, but then I'll also have a chart very similar to this up, right, where it shows me my weekly trade zones, things like that. And then sometimes what I'll do is if I know there are no zones in between, right, anytime soon, with the volatility, the zones are wider, what I'll do is I'll actually draw my own trade zones, and I'll give you a quick example of one of the zones that I drew today. You could see there's one down here, but the other trade zone that I had was right up here, right? It was just essentially an open gap. And I just extend the line, and this is kind of what happened. Price came up, but you could see as we came up into the trade zone, we had a rejection. Now, sometimes I like to give it about a point to the back of the trade zone, right? Beyond, because sometimes the S&P futures will kind of go a couple ticks and then reverse, and that's essentially what happened here. And you had nice, really big pullback. If you want to use the zones for scalping, you can too, right? So there are multiple different ways to trade those zones, but those are basically the two things that I've over the years really mastered and become really good at. And so in this video right now, we're going to start. I'm going to show you all the opportunities. I'm going to kind of spill the beans on the divergent side of what to look for and things like that. So let's kind of jump right into it. With so what a divergence is where price is making higher highs, but the stochastic, I'm using a fast stochastic. I'll kind of show you guys what the setting is on that stochastic, where I only show the D. Okay, so I hide the K. I only show the D line, and the D is the 3. So I have 80-20 for overbought, oversold, and then the 3 period on a 1 minute chart. That's it. Very simple, very basic. So what I look for is I look for price to make a new high. So right here, we kind of make a new high. We pull back. We start to make higher highs and look at where the divergence is, right? And so this was kind of right at the opening. I was just kind of waiting to see what the market was going to do. I'm like, okay, hey, there's really nothing there yet. I could have taken this trade right here, but I just kind of sat on my hand, and then I saw this because I want to. One thing I never do is trade the first half hour. Meaning that 7 a.m. I'm in Las Vegas, so that 7 a.m. I never trade that first half hour, because what happens is that is usually when news comes out. That's 10 a.m. Eastern time, and there's usually news 3 or 4 times a week, so I never trade. So I didn't want to take this guy on the kickback, so I just kind of sat. I also saw the momentum wasn't there, so I'm like, hey, I'll wait. If this thing pulls back, I will look for the reversal, right? For the bounce higher, and then I will look to short. So let's kind of zoom in here and see exactly what the trade is. Now, if you guys know my videos, and I've done multiple videos, I look for wicks and bodies. Think of wicks, okay, or the wicks is everybody got trapped. They bought at the wrong time. And so then what happens is when price reverses, it comes back. All the professional traders, people like me, right, who do this for a living and understand price action, we all know, hey, these people are all trapped. They're like, hey, let me get back out at break even. And then that's where we pile on the shorts, and we don't give them that chance to get out at break even. I'm not saying that's really what happens, but it's the story I tell myself. So when we come back up here, I go, okay, hey, look, this we have body, right? Wicks here, even these highs right here. Okay, so somewhere around here, I want to look for a short. I know the high is at 48.50. The bodies are at 45.75. So one of the things with higher volatilities, I change it. Risk 2 points to make 2 points. Lower volatility, I'll go for. I'm only looking for 1 point. Okay, but because of the volatility, the moves are a lot bigger, so I want to give it a little bit more room on both ends and get about a 50-50 risk reward. So I would put in order in around, if I knew the high was 48.50, my stop would be 48.75. To get to that 2 points, if there's no body and it's a little wide, I would just say, hey, let me look for a short at 46.75, right? And so what happens is we come all the way back up, and we come on this candle, it came all the way back up to 46.50, and then it had the reversal. you would have missed that trade. You have to be okay missing these trades, okay? So that trade never got filled, because if it did, I would have had to take on even more risk because of how wide it was. So that trade, you just kind of set aside and go forward. Now, real quick, I just want to tell you guys about a NFT that I'm purchasing into, and I just want to give you guys a quick update on. If you go to Twitter and go to Taunt Battelworld, their username is @PlayTaunt. They actually have a pre-sale to be able to try and get on the whitelist that comes out March 5th. That's this coming weekend. Of 2022, and then the public sale is March 8th. It's only 0.1 Ether. That's like $270 at today's place, and you'll get a skull pass, right? All you need to do is come over here, join their Discord, okay? And then once you're in their Discord, if you go to announcement, you can actually watch their Taunt Battelworld developer stream. They just did a live stream about a week ago. They explained everything in there. Make sure you guys go and join Taunt Battelworld. Follow them on Twitter. And it's a really, really cool project if you are into NFTs. But with that being said, let's get back into this video, okay? Okay, so divergence. Here's a second one that happened today, right? So as price is going higher, right, we actually see price or the momentum of the stochastic slowing down. And so what happens is, here is our next kickback, right? We make a high. We have a nice clean pullback with a waterfall, right? We look for the kickback. This is what I look for. This is my A+ setup, right? We could see a body here, a body, a wick high, things like that. Body, wick high, right? So look at what price does. As we come back up, I had an order. I like this nice reversal candle with the wick. These are things that I mainly look for, right? Because it increases our chances that the very first retest of this price will probably get rejected. And that's exactly what happened. And we could have entered right here at 46.50. Our stop would have been, we'll say 43.63. Well, guess what? That's beyond our 2.5 points, right? So our entry would have been a little higher. And guess what? If we would have had an entry right here, stop would have been 63. We do 61. Guess what? You touch 61 here, touch 61 here, okay? And then price kind of fills you, and then you get your 2 points. You really took zero risk on this trade for a winner. So let's follow through, right? There were a few more today. Here's another one. We see price makes a low, bounces, makes a new low, undercuts that low. We could see on that pullback, there really isn't any selling momentum, right? We break to the upside, and then we come back to retest. If you look at this wick right here, right? Maybe you want to lean, put an order right above it, and look at this. Pulls right back, never takes out that low, and off to the races. Nice winner if you're patient and you know what to look for. Next, on the move higher, right? We see the divergence here. Okay, I'll kind of zoom out. We see the higher move here, a pullback. So we're going to lean against this body, right? We're right here around 575, 58. So we'll call it 56. Let's see what price does. Look at this. It comes up, but it comes up short. If I see a move like this, I cancel my order and I go, I missed the trade, because look at the pullback it had. you're not going to get a trade every single time. But if you're patient, you have a pullback, way oversold, okay, a bounce, a pullback. We had a double bottom here, and look at where the stochastic is, and look at all of this price action right here. Wicks, bodies, body, wick, right? Well, guess what? When I see that divergence, we break higher and then we pull back. Here's the kickback. I'm getting long down at these levels, and then here's the bounce. So that was a nice winner. One of the things is, as you start to watch these, you will see them all over the place, and they are very high probability. Here's another one that was never triggered, because look at this. It came up. You could have maybe taken this and had maybe about a point worth of risk, okay, on this. So you didn't need to take that full 2 points because of prices telling you where to put your entry in. And usually it's where there are wicks and also bodies, okay, where a lot of things line up. If you could really understand those concepts, that's kind of where you put your order. But once I saw this and then the pullback, I probably wouldn't have taken it. But down below here, look at this. You actually had another divergence here, right? Price pulls back, makes a low, bounces, right? Because we took out the high, pulls back, makes a low. Okay, and then here you kind of break above by 1 tick, and then this breaks below. Here's our kickback, very small risk, only about a point of risk, and look at this massive move we had off that divergence. And then finally, we had this divergence right up here, right? This was right at the end of the day, but look at this, body, wicks, right? And look at the pullback with the divergence, right? And look at where we go. Right as we pull back, look at how low the stochastic is, right? And then touch and then pull back. So that is probably my number one go-to for trading the S&P Emini futures. My second one is trading the weekly trade zones that I do every week. I also draw intraday trade zones, and if there's divergence into a trade zone, even with these guys, right? If you kind of pull this and take this same chart and use your weekly trade zones, okay, you could look at it here. We gap lower, right? So this trade zone actually got gap below on the Sunday evening. Okay, so this is really not even relevant anymore because we gap lower, right, below it. So it's no longer void or valid. But you could say, hey, if we're coming down into a weekly trade zone and there's a divergence, there isn't here, but there is actually here, right? If you look, there's a divergence here to here. And then from here to here, you could go, hey, let me get long into that zone and look for the bounce. So remember, links down below. Make sure you guys, or actually, hopefully this video helped you guys of how to day trade for a living, the futures. And if you guys have any questions, leave comments below, but also make sure you guys check out Taunt Battelworld if you are into crypto and NFTs. Really, really cool project. It's something I'm personally invested in. And as always, thank you for watching. Sorry, this one's a little long, but hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you soon.